Welcome to your reset with Christiane Piano, where the purpose is to support you in releasing all that you are not, so the truth of who you really are can emerge. This is accomplished through working with the body-mind from an ontological perspective. We use various modalities to support you in supporting yourself exactly where you are, so that you may return to an experience of wholeness and ease, moment by moment. Deep reflection is one of the greatest tools through which to do this. To take a moment, to pause, assess, reflect, and literally and figuratively reset, come back to center, and move back into your one and precious life with increased clarity and purpose. Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time, nice to meet you and thank you for listening in. This week's episode is multifaceted, and I chose it because I'm currently having conversations with multiple people about the experience of stagnation. Summer is just around the corner, and for many, it's a time to pause from the daily grind. Maybe you take a vacation, a long weekend, or even a day or two here and there to enjoy time outdoors, relax, and unwind, or perhaps simply do nothing and allow yourself to bask in simply being. With increasing temperatures, this often means more time spent trying to stay cool, physically and mentally slowing down. Creating balance in this season is an art in itself, because when balance isn't maintained, stagnation can result. While stagnation can occur at any time of the year, that kind that appears in the summer months affects both the body and mind in particular ways. So, what exactly is stagnation? It's often described as a state of not flowing or moving. For a visual, imagine blocked drains resulting in water stagnation. You might even feel it in your own body if your digestion slows down or if you're experiencing constipation. That's a form of stagnation in the intestines. Perhaps it's a creative project that just sits on the shelf, never progressing, or a conversation you've put off, causing tension to build. Stagnation is essentially a state of being stuck, without forward motion. This unfolds for many reasons. For example, on the physical level, a lack of activity, dehydration, or dietary choices that impede smooth internal flow, often tied to an imbalanced or skewed, unconstructive relationship with food, or limiting beliefs about body image, like the idea that only certain foods will keep us thin. On a deeper mental or emotional level, it can stem from undecidedness, a difficult relationship to letting go, or simply no movement in personal growth or development, often caused by fear or lack of clarity. To truly understand and address these imbalances, particularly how they manifest in our physical and mental states, we can turn to ancient wisdom. Let's start with the fundamental concept of yin and yang. It's easy to see them as simple opposites, but there's a more profound truth here. And right from the start, it's crucial to understand that these aren't just opposing forces, but complementary energies that actually work together. This balance, however, is dynamic and constantly tested by the internal and external rhythms of our lives. Before we dive into the specifics of these energies, it's helpful to first acknowledge a universal truth about life and growth. When we talk about balance, we're also inherently talking about what throws us off balance. And what often throws us off balance? It's not challenge itself, but our relationship to it. Challenge is an inherent part of life. We all navigate ups and downs, in and outs of ease and discomfort. For instance, some might constantly seek out challenges, creating an ongoing state of imbalance, while others may feel so accustomed to struggle that they don't know how to thrive without it. The real difference lies in our relationship to the general overarching context of life's difficulties and the specific situations that arise. Anyone interested in growth, the kind of growth that leads to evolving, maturing, and truly outgrowing old patterns, understands its profound connection to how we relate to these perceived obstacles. This isn't about getting somewhere as much as it is about unlearning, releasing attachment to who you think you are, and allowing yourself to be fully in the present moment as is. This kind of deep internal growth is particularly well supported during the summer months. While this period is often associated with ease and vacationing, it truly offers a unique opportunity for introspection and reflection. That's because the relaxed pace and changes in routine, perhaps even changing locations, allows us to step out of our usual rhythms. This creates openings for new insights and perspectives that aren't as accessible in our everyday grind. However, it's crucial to remember this doesn't happen automatically. The space and willingness for this purposeful introspection must be consciously created. If you haven't listened to Reflections on Summer, I highly suggest it, as you'll uncover or perhaps be reminded of the opportunity that comes with growth and development during this season. As anyone paying attention to daily life will notice, obstacles can manifest at any given time, and one's relationship to perceived obstacles is usually the very key to growth and insight within our own personal self-development. With this understanding of challenge and growth as our foundation, let's now explore how these principles, particularly through the lens of yin and yang, specifically impact our physical self. Here, we can see how an imbalance can gradually lead to stagnation. This process can be so subtle that if we're not paying close attention, we might not act proactively before it contributes to a more chronic condition. We'll examine how stagnation can show up in the body if we don't maintain balance, a relevant consideration even if your climate is consistent, as body-mind well-being is based on returning to balance and harmony. Let's begin with the well-known distinction of yin and yang energies. These are not just opposing forces, but fundamental, complementary energies that are deeply interdependent and interconnected, forming a dynamic whole. Yin embodies qualities like the unknown, the feminine, darkness, softness, and often evokes images of water, representing transformation, passiveness, the moon, and cold. Crucially, it also embodies the principle of intentionally creating time for the body and mind to truly restore beyond mere inactivity or sleep. Think of it as the cooling, receptive energy. Yang, conversely, is associated with the known, the masculine, light, and is often linked to fire, representing creativity, activeness, the sun, and warmth. This is the heating, expansive energy. Each of us carries both of these energies within us. When they are out of balance, they can create havoc in our overall experience of living, impacting everything from our internal organs to our heart rate, respiratory function, and emotional states. This imbalance can manifest in various physical, mental, and emotional symptoms, significantly impacting your overall well-being. To recognize these shifts, let's look at some common indicators. Excess yang can lead to stress, agitation, inflammation, or overheating. Excess yin might show up as lethargy, coldness, passivity, or feeling stuck. Yang deficiency can cause persistent coldness, low energy, or a low sex drive. Yin deficiency can manifest as internal heat, night sweats, or a restless mind. Ultimately, such an imbalance can block the flow of qi, the vital life force, leading to various physical ailments and a profound lack of energy. Balancing these energies is crucial for maintaining overall health and well-being. To support and return to balance, various techniques are suggested, including how and when we nourish ourselves. Breath-led movement practices which invite simultaneously softening and balanced activation. Acupuncture, herbal remedies, and different types of movements that invite softening. By truly understanding these core principles of yin and yang and how they relate to your health, you can begin to take baby steps to promote an ever-increasing experience of body-mind well-being. Now, building on this understanding of yin and yang and their role in body-mind well-being, let's see how this crucial balance is impacted by external factors like summer temperatures, focusing on a vital organ system, our kidneys. These incredible organs are often regarded as the very storehouse of our body's vitality and endurance. Our kidneys are particularly affected when there's an excess of yang in the body, especially during an increase in outdoor temperatures, which results in an excess of internal body temperatures. The kidneys, located below the respiratory diaphragm and against the iliopsoas muscles, have a central position in the mid-trunk, suggesting their role in governing the body's overall level of physical energy. While the adrenal glands oversee the body's capacity for sudden, immediate bursts of energy, think about needing to be on instantly in response to high stress, quick turnarounds, or sudden challenges. The kidneys are the true reservoir for your deeper vitality, longevity, and endurance. The adrenals and kidneys are actually a paired system. You can liken the adrenal glands to spark plugs, deeply related to fire, while the kidneys are likened to efficient blood filters connected to water. Our bodies are constantly striving to regulate the effects of this inherent fire and fluidity within us, because we absolutely need both to thrive. So what does this delicate balance truly require of us? It demands paying attention to where we need to reconcile states of exertion, which naturally produce heat, with states of rest, which call for the coolness of water. This is a subtle yet crucial balance and needed throughout the year, but it becomes especially vital during moments when we feel under fire in our lives, as well as during intense seasons like summer. When this balance is off, it can noticeably impact our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system activity, blood pressure, and even our sleep cycles. For a simple point of reference, remember that when you are standing or active, you generally create more heat, and when you are lying down or at rest, you are generating less heat. There's a lot of potential for playful exploration and learning how to work with your physical body on many subtle layers. This allows you to continue to ground and invite flow while moving, without generating too much excess heat, and simultaneously receive support from the ground itself. Often, direct contact with the ground in the summer months can prove quite cooling. Let's dive a little deeper into these elemental forces. Fire, associated with the sun, reaches its peak power during the extra long summer days starting on June 21st. Fire has incredible transformative power, but as we know, if it gets out of hand, it can lead to destruction. It's not by chance that statistics show an increase in violence during the summer months. And while summer is often connected with ease, vacations, and fun, these statistics reflect back to us just how many people can be overtaken by an internal barrage of heat. We'll explore the mental and emotional impacts of this internal heat more in the later half of our episode. Water, on the other hand, is connected with our capacity to heal, nourish, and illuminate. It embodies a yin-like quality, providing a deep nourishment and supporting longevity by filtering, regulating, and storing blood. It essentially represents flow, the very opposite of stagnation. When things are flowing smoothly within us, this better supports us in navigating whatever we're facing in our lives. At its core, this ability to flow is intertwined with being with all as is, finding presence and acceptance in every moment. This also embodies what we might call soft strength, a profound power often misunderstood as the opposite of conventional strength, but which is actually foundational. This is especially true for the kidneys, as they are reservoirs for life-giving energies. It's important to remember that the energies of yin and yang, or fire and water in this context, are not opposing forces in conflict. Rather, they are concordant, working together, yielding the very essence of life. And it's in this context that we can truly appreciate the profound role of our kidneys. Interestingly enough, the kidneys assume the innermost, deep-seated position of all organs in the body. Their location is more interior than even the brain or the heart. They are protected by the strong musculature of the back, and because they are so deeply recessed and protected, it highlights their role as the primary storehouse of the essential fluid in the body. And fluid is absolutely critical for us. Did you know the average amount in a male is 60% and for females 55%? When this vital fluid balance is disrupted by factors like too much heat, our bodies quickly show us the signs. When we feel inflamed or have an excess of heat, too much internal fire, our bodies can feel heavy, we can experience muscle soreness, and a pervasive sense of lethargy. Conversely, when we have too little water or too much dryness, we can feel agitated, tired, experience headaches and dizziness or lightheadedness. Both extremes contribute to stagnation. And it's not just about comfort. Stress and depletion of the kidneys can compromise neuroimmunity, digestion, sleep patterns, lymph drainage, muscle tone, and even your concentration levels. Given these far-reaching effects, it becomes particularly critical in a world where our identity is so often wrapped up with productivity, not just when we are working, but even in our downtime. It is critical to proactively monitor our fatigue levels and to spend time regularly nourishing and building this life-giving energy stored in our kidneys. One of the most effective ways of doing this is by working with the subtle body. This refers to the energetic and consciousness layers of our being, encompassing things like our breath, inner sensations, and energetic pathways. Interestingly, working with our connective tissue, also known as fascia, can be a very tangible way to connect into the subtle body and invite profound shifts. When these shifts are guided by your intention to invite and sustain flow within yourself, you'll naturally find yourself wanting to target areas like the kidneys in specific ways. In general, you'll want to engage in practices that keep the lumbar region pliable and hydrated. For example, if you practice yoga, sun salutations are deeply supportive, as breath-guided movements, alternately flexing and extending the myofascia that surround the kidneys, supports a release of accumulated tension and invites a return to flow. Twists also help to maintain proper circulation of blood and lymph. And since the kidneys impact respiratory rhythms, should the kidneys and their surrounding fascia become constricted, movement of the diaphragm during inhalations may be inhibited, making it hard to breathe deeply. These types of breath-led movements and mindful practices are incredibly effective. They subtly work with your fascia, the remarkable connective tissue that truly underpins our physical well-being. Throughout the year, but especially during the hot summer months, strategically working with your fascia helps you slow down, reduce internal heat, and gently stimulate internal cleansing. This highly sensitive, continuous, three-dimensional matrix surrounds and connects every part of your body, from organs to muscles and nerves. Crucially, your fascia is also a repository for your experiences, both physical and emotional. In a very real sense, your fascia remembers or stores what your conscious mind may have forgotten. For example, when you experience stress, your fascia tightens. Think of those tense shoulders when you're worried. Beyond structural support and maintaining posture, fascia is vital for facilitating smooth, coordinated movement and acting as a rich communication network, playing a key role in your body's awareness of its position in space. So we've explored how physical balance and flow are essential to prevent stagnation in our bodies. But as we touched upon earlier, stagnation isn't just a physical phenomenon. It impacts our inner landscape just as profoundly. So let's now turn our focus from the physical vessel to the incredibly powerful world of our minds. As Leonardo da Vinci so beautifully stated, iron rusts from disuse. Water loses its purity from stagnation. Even so does inaction sap the vigor of the mind. Now let's take a deeper look at the mind and how stagnation creeps in. One of the most insidious obstacles that can develop amidst routine or even when we become resigned is a kind of mental dullness, a feeling of being stuck. This might manifest as a persistent lack of inspiration, endless procrastination, difficulty making decisions, or feeling generally unmotivated. This can quickly lead to profound stagnation. It's an internal state we must be willing to face and actively work with within our body minds, because mental and emotional vitality is absolutely essential for navigating everyday life. If you find yourself trapped in a state of imbalance, perhaps created by imbalanced practices, unsupportive lifestyle choices, or challenging relationship dynamics, you're likely experiencing this form of mental stuckness. It's not about avoiding these moments, as another insightful quote reminds us. It is not really a matter of avoiding the difficulties that resolves them and opens a path to liberation. Instead, it is the ability to face the difficulties and the distractions straight on that allows us to truly mature and progress. This highlights the undeniable link between our inner state and our willingness to engage. And the good news is, many of the practices we've discussed earlier for the body are equally supportive of shifting mental energy. Breathing practices, conscious movement that wakes up the senses, and even simple body scan meditations are all extremely helpful in overcoming and moving beyond mental stagnation. They invite a crucial shift in energy that goes beyond mere intellectual understanding. There's one particular quote that I come back to again and again in my own life, especially when I'm facing a significant challenge or needing to make a decision but feel unclear on which direction to move. It's from Lao Tzu. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? This wisdom has been profoundly relevant for me, especially as of late. I've personally been recovering from a long, drawn-out legal battle, and now that it's behind me, I'm needing to spend extra time recovering and returning to balance. I'm actively creating a new foundation for myself and my children. In navigating some deep unknowns that touch upon core survival, such as housing and providing for my family, I've seen how easily I can become triggered by events. I can honestly say I have never been more grateful for my trainings and practices than I have been in the last 5 years, and especially in the last couple of months. They have supported me through this deeply transformational time on all levels of my life. I've had to navigate on a daily basis the awareness that even if I can intellectualize phrases like, if it's meant to be, it will be, or nothing that is meant for me will pass me by, there's a fundamental piece of work beyond just checking my perspective and outlook. Bringing awareness to my thoughts, which often appear in those moments when I'm not focused on a specific activity, like in the evening when getting ready for bed, or when I awake at night, or even in simple moments of pause during the day to just be and breathe, is crucial. Have you ever noticed that when you wake up in the middle of the night, the thoughts you have are rarely about the beauty in your life, but instead about things you're grappling with, concerns, doubts, a sense of lack of control? This is where the deeper work comes in. Our natural rhythms, sleep rhythms, eating rhythms, active and rest rhythms, rhythms of conversation and quiet solitude are fundamental to this balance. But the absolute key is creating the space to drop into the body and support shifting our energetic frequencies so that the nervous system can gently return to balance. If you only work with your thoughts, you are only working with part of the picture. And if we only rely on our thoughts and don't work with our bodies, we often find ourselves forcing things, which is a clear sign of resistance. When our nervous system and internal operating systems are truly balanced, we are more able to be with life as is. The grip for control loosens, the need to force an outcome fades, and a sense of simply being arises. This inner shift then naturally manifests in our thoughts, what we put into our bodies, the people we surround ourselves by, and the ability to soften, rinse, release, and perhaps let go again and again. These are fundamental to daily living and our ability to reset and begin again as often as needed. And while there's a common belief that people tend to be happier in the summer months, there's an increasing conversation that many people actually experience depression due to the increase of humidity and heat levels. As we spoke about earlier, although increased exposure to sunlight and time outdoors can prove beneficial, high heat and increased crime rates are correlated. This brings us back to the initial point. One of the most insidious obstacles that can creep in amidst routine or resignation is dullness or stuckness, which quickly leads to stagnation. This is an internal state that we must be willing to face and work with within our body-mind. Vitality is essential for navigating everyday life, and if you become trapped in a state of imbalance, created by imbalances in practices you engage in, lifestyle choices, or challenging relationship dynamics, you may find yourself in a state of stagnation. As we close, remember that vitality isn't just about avoiding stagnation, it's about actively cultivating an empowered state of flow within your body-mind. By leaning into the simple, subtle keys of dissolving what holds you back, you unlock a profound, soft strength that allows you to be with life as is. Continue to explore, to soften, and to engage with your inner landscape. Thank you for tuning in and listening. I can't wait to share more with you in the next episode. I hope you found this particular episode supportive. Feel free to share it with someone you know, and remember to like, follow, or subscribe. Until next time. If you are interested in working with me on any level of body-mind well-being, whether it be through individual body-mind maturation work sessions, perhaps participating in a series, individual privates, or through my video on-demand services, if you have questions, if you would like to engage on any level, feel free to schedule a free 15-minute consult in the appointment section, www.christianepiano.com, or email me directly at growth@christianepiano.com.